what started off as a simple sewage pipe that we thought had broken and then caused a pothole or a sinkhole right in the entrance of this complex turned out to be a much bigger problem. This was initially reported on the 31st of March 2025. And the sinkhole just carried on growing and growing. And with the last storms that we've had over the last few weeks, this has basically become a major threat to the property and the people here. And we're now in a point where the water that's coming through the stormwater drains that are blocked is cavitating away at the foundations of both the complex as well as this parking lot, with cars potentially collapsing.
The community has logged multiple calls with the City of Johannesburg, and the Florida Hills Residents Forum escalated the issue. But 10 months later, nothing has changed. 2 weeks ago, 40 milliliters of rain fell in just 15 minutes. Water burst out of the sinkhole, swept across the road, tore down boundary walls, and flooded people's homes. But collapsed walls aren't the only worry. Another sinkhole that had opened up in front of this house in September 2022 is still there.
Subsequently, the situation's just got worse. The sinkhole's become bigger. It's stretched further up and down the road with further collapses, blocking entrances to some of the driveways here. And we get promises of service delivery, but unfortunately nothing is realised since 2022 December.
The city chose then to appoint a consultant to manage this whole process, and that consultant didn't perform. That was approximately 2 years ago that consultant was appointed, and then recently they've now appointed a new consultant. Although that consultant hasn't been introduced to me, and the previous one wasn't introduced to me either. There's a general lack of communication from JRA on this matter.
The Auditor General has repeatedly warned about municipalities' high spending on consultants and their failure to transfer skills to internal staff. According to Finn, the City of Johannesburg's shortage of skilled technical personnel is a major reason for these sinkholes remaining unrepaired. Nal says early intervention could have prevented the situation from escalating to this point.
In this particular case, we've had infrastructure that has just not been tended to, and it continues to worsen literally week by week at this stage. And the fact that the rain is not letting up, and we've had a very wet summer, not in terms of overall rainfall, but in terms of the amount of rain and the short span that it falls in, the infrastructure is just not capable of coping. And that's resulting in further damages and accelerated damage. And it's going to cost the taxpayers substantially more money to get it resolved versus having it resolved when it is actually reported.
The City of Johannesburg has had 4 different mayors since the sinkhole first appeared. Metros are run with annual and multi-year budgets, and frequent leadership changes translate into delays in signing off on budgets.
The city's procurement processes are notoriously slow, and that often leads to a situation where processes to appoint different consultants or contractors or service providers takes much longer than what it should.
The transport portfolio, which is responsible for maintaining the city's roads infrastructure, has had 4 councillors under 3 different political parties since September 2022. Funzela Ngobeni served as MMC for Transport under DA Mayor Mpho Palazzi in 2022. Ashley Sauls of the Patriotic Alliance took over briefly from October 2022 to January 2023. In February 23, the party's Deputy President Kenny Kunene was appointed MMC for Transport. He resigned in July last year after being seen at the home of a controversial figure. After an internal investigation cleared Kunene in September last year, current Joburg Mayor Dada Morero's reluctance to reinstate him almost collapsed the Johannesburg Local Coalition as well as the GNU. Since September 2022, sinkholes have been forming and widening in Florida Hills, while politicians fought for power, leadership positions, and control of Africa's wealthiest metro. Meanwhile, residents who voted for stable service delivery were left behind. Elrees, Mashaba, SABC News, Florida Hills, Johannesburg.